Oh, so now you're saying you'd rather have our child packaged off to strangers rather than go to my sisters, my two sisters, where she'd be looked after as if she were their own.
I've taught Eden everything, and Eden does everything marvellously.
You really oughtn't to make fun of Vera. I owe her my life.
What about the March baby, Andrew? What about the baby?
I'm Chad Hamner, Eden's friend.
Do you think they've done it yet?
You should know that Chad and I mean absolutely nothing to one another now.
Remember to ask your commander when you might be allowed to...
Vera has given birth to a son. 8 pounds, 2 ounces, stop. Mother and baby are both doing well.
Don't belong here, you little bastard.
James Gerald Arthur Hilliard, I baptize thee in the name of the Father.
There's no but. I'm going to marry Andrew. Why should Vera stop us?
Look after Jamie, Faith. Promise me. Look after Jamie.
Jamie!
We all think our family is normal until it is proved otherwise. And when it is proved otherwise, we think our family abnormal forever. In the early 60s, when the rest of the world was beginning to break the ice of tradition, I stayed in Oxford, cocooned, buried with our family guilt year upon year.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Silence in the library.
It's not me who makes the noise. It's your floorboards.
Looking at me.
Because you're very pretty. Underneath those very ugly glasses.
Is that all?
Do I need one other reason? Okay, I think of one. You're always hiding. And always in the dark, in the shadows. Running everywhere with your head down. Hiding in the corner of this library.
You seem to have made quite a study of me.
I'm studying for a lawyer. I am from Sicily.
Sicilian lawyer? Isn't that a contradiction in terms?
I'm working very hard, so it won't be. That's why I'm here in England, the home of justice.
You're sure about that, are you? You must finish now, or I'll have to lock us both in.
Can you promise me that? Why don't you come for a drink with me?
Now?
Yes, now. You're allowed out, aren't you?
Yes, of course I am.
Okay. Even though you are a grand librarian and I am only a poor student. Yeah, let's go.
It's just... Well, I don't just...
What's your name?
Faith. It's Faith.
Faith. Fidele. Why are you living like a mouse, Faith? Ah, you have a protector, I see.
Yes.
And do you have children, Faith?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear John. Happy birthday to you.
Just after the war, we held our last happy family gathering at Bowl Cottage.
Good you could make it, Chad?
Well, I was on my way back from a story.
Amazing how many interesting local stories there are around Great Cinder.
Really, Vera, this chair's in a sorry state. Used to be so clever with your needle.
So did you, Eden, darling, before you took out being escort to the entire British naval establishment.
Could we start tea soon? I have to get back to London tonight.
So soon? I thought you'd be staying over. Still, if you have exciting things to do, we can't keep you here. Never mind. Jamie and I will have fun, won't we, darling?
Hello, little fellow.
Eden?
Oh, look, that's Tony Pearman. He's the son.
Excuse me. Who is that man?
That's Tony Pearman. You must know. He's inherited the whole lot.
Millions. They say 2 million at least.
We should be off now, I think, if it's the only one.
Well, you'll never guess who that was.
Eden.
Well, you'll never guess what her news was.
She's getting married.
Yes. Well, I suppose it was inevitable it would happen so soon. She's been out for a season at least. Or the equivalent.
Out is the word.
Excuse me?
I meant that it's probably the best thing for Eden to settle down. She's been here, there, and everywhere the past few years. Doesn't do some girls good to be out and about so much.
The family's going to be deeply honoured. You'll not guess who the groom is.
Tony Pearman.
He's an ideal choice for Eden, of course. It'll be a love match. You don't think that young man, Chad, you don't think...
Chad will be upset, but I don't really see Eden as his wife, do you? I think she wants a grander lifestyle than Chad would ever be able to give her.
And I suppose she was ringing to ask you to give her away. Isn't that what you call it?
Yes. Well, no, she's decided that Francis should. It's for the best, of course.
Oh, of course, it is perfectly natural that in the absence of a father, a bride will not choose her brother, who has for years been her moral guide, but her nephew, a man of extremely strange antisocial habits, and coincidentally one who has never once shown an ounce of family feeling.
Will you stop criticizing my family? I give you wonderful news, and all you can do is complain about my sisters.
Well, what did I say?
Vera and Eden are perfect examples of... Well, they're perfect examples. They know best. Eden must know what she's doing.
I suppose we are invited. I wonder if Gerald will go. You do remember your brother-in-law, John? Your sister Vera's husband? I wonder if he will be invited.
It's quite like old times, isn't it? I love your wedding things. Did Vera help you choose?
God, no. They're couture, of course. I hope they haven't got dusty. Laurel Cottage isn't exactly the place for them to hang.
Faith, Bath, 7 a.m. Same old Vera. Like we're in the army.
Better get going, else I'll be cashiered out.
Faith, hang on a second. Faith? Is he going to know I'm not a virgin?
I don't know. I mean, Eden, I don't know.
Only I'm not. They say that men can tell.
Why not ask Vera? She'll know.
Vera and I don't talk about such things. I never really did.
Well, I read somewhere that you can get that way, if you've been riding. Horses, that is. Have you?
No. Oh, God, Faith. I'm going to have to tell him that too. I don't think he'll ever have known anyone who couldn't ride.
Look, it'll be all right. But Eden, this is going to be the best day of your life.
You'll have a wonderful future together.
Where's Jamie's head?
There it is. Silly Mummy lost it.
We thought we could be Aunt Eden's page, didn't we? But Aunt Eden didn't like the idea. Never mind, my darling. We'll have a lovely view. She thought children would be a nuisance. It is understandable.
He looks very handsome, Vera. You should be very proud of him.
Francis, be careful!
Don't spill anything. I'm not a baby, Mother.
Honestly, Francis, you act like a baby.
Jamie, look. Don't let him near me! It's all right, darling. Come to Mummy. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Francis. Francis, I must speak to you. What about?
My time is all yours, darling. I'm giving you my day. My poor, poor darling. Poor, poor little Eden. This is what it was all for. All those preparations, all those face packs, All those exercises. And it all comes to this. And you're not ready, are you, my darling? You're just not ready.
Poor fellow. He may never get over losing Eden. Jolly sporting of him to come.
I would have thought he'd had enough on his hands doing his duty to poor Vera.
What on earth do you mean, Helen? Good heavens. What a stupid woman she is. Oh, I know she's my sister, too, but only a half-sister. Sometimes I can't see any resemblance between her and Vera and Eden. Morning.
It is. Hello.
Heavens, he's not very good-looking, is he? Well, I suppose if he's worth $2 million, he doesn't have to be. Let's hope the children take after Eden.
Do you think, Mother, she is your creation after all? Will she do you think? Will she last a lifetime?
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here in the sight of God and in the face of this congregation to join together this man and this woman in holy matrimony. The scriptures teach us that marriage is a holy mystery in which man and woman
Poor Eden. She'd spent her whole life preparing for this moment. She had thought, like Anne and I in our romantic, girlish fantasies, that the wedding was the end of the story. I often wonder if she had a faint idea that morning of the long struggle she had ahead of her.
Sell Laurel Cottage? Vera, how could you say that?
Oh, of course I don't want to. It's just that Laurel Cottage was left to me, you and Eden jointly. Eden won't need to live there again, obviously. So I was just thinking now that Gerald's definitely not coming home.
Of course you and Jamie must carry on living there. Of course you must. You wouldn't dream of selling off the roof from over your head.
Now that Eden's coming to live at Goodney Hall, we'll be able to see each other. Every day, if you want.
One day it's possible we might be moving on. We have to think of the future.
I don't want to hear another word about it. You and Jamie are safe at Laurel Cottage. Forever.
Faith, you haven't met Andrew, have you? I've been trying to make him eat more, being in that camp all this time.
You've been stuffing me with food all afternoon. Don't worry, Mother, I'm not starving now. Drink.
Yes, I did fly in the Battle of Britain, and yes, it was a hurricane. Now, can we get on to something more interesting? Francis is at Oxford, isn't he?
Cambridge.
Oh, that's something of a relief. I'm going to Oxford in October. I'm going to be a rather mature undergraduate. I find it hard to think of Francis as my cousin.
I'm off to Oxford too. Expect we'll bump into each other. Do you think of me as your cousin?
I don't think I do, quite. But you want me to?
Are you staying here tonight, Faith? With all the young people?
We'll be all alone tonight, won't we, Jamie, darling?
Francis!
I can't help it, Aunt Helen. It's the way I was brought up.
Goodbye, darling!
Goodbye, Eden! Goodbye! Goodbye! Goodbye!
Have a lovely time!
Goodbye! I think things went very well, don't you? It was a lovely service. And marvellous weather. If I'm not much mistaken, Eden will have a baby within the year. Don't you think? I think she will. He'll want children soon. He'll need a son, an heir, and he'll be a very lucky little boy. Ooh. Will you have children, Faith?
Well, yes. I hope. Sometime.
It's frightening. Babies are frightening. You love them so much. You don't realise how much they can hurt you.
What do you mean, hurt you?
They're lovely when they're little. Then when they grow up, they're just people. They're not like you anymore. And they're more unpleasant to you than they are to their worst enemy. You don't think so? But I promise you that's what happens.
you are. Story of my life.
Is that it?
Yes. Isn't it enough?
Oh, give me a moment. This is a lawyer, you remember. So, this is why you hide yourself away. Still.
I'm not hiding. All the students in my year left. Then soon there was no one who remembered.
What about the staff?
Well, they remembered there was something vaguely interesting about me.
Well, there you are, then.
Where?
In years to come, it might be very fashionable to be the niece of a murderess. Might gain you entry to glossy parties. I'm sorry. Forgive me, please. Revenge and passionate murder are all part of my culture. Why don't you let your aunts rest in peace?
I wish I could. For years, I've felt responsible in some way. We all saw it happening, you see. We all saw it. Just didn't do anything because, well, you just didn't do that.
What?
Talk. Talk about things that were really important. Mistresses of trivia, that's what we all were. My father had some excuse. You see, he thought his sisters were the most wonderful, ideal image of womanhood ever. Some joke to think that in his family there might be this terrible tendency.
Now you are talking superstitions.
No. No. It was something someone from the village said. At Vera's trial.
You know the story of Kathleen March? There were other babies, you know.
You know how it is when something is suggested to you? An awful possibility. And you think, I'll just find out, let me just find out, and then it'll be all right. There'll be nothing to it.
Kathleen! Kathleen!
Kathleen! Kathleen!
Kathleen!
Between 1920 and 1930, 5 children went missing in the Great Sindon area.
I told you, darling, you must leave this alone. You're making yourself ill.
Oh, yes, us women making ourselves ill all the time. Where have I heard that before? Maybe you should call a doctor, get him to bring something for my nerves. That's your answer to everything, isn't it?
Got to leave it alone, Faith, for your own good.
For my good? Where were all the men of the family when it mattered? Oh, that's right. Oh, God forbid the rest of the world should hear Ray's voice. I mean, who cares about anything, the most evil thing, so long as the neighbours don't find out? He's been good to me, you see. I must go.
You must. He's still your keeper.
Doesn't it look lovely? I expect they made the most of their holiday. It'll be their last chance to go away for a while.
Well, Eden will surely have help with the baby. It won't make so much difference to their lives.
I was the first to be told. Did I tell you that? Eden told me she suspected even before she told Tony.
Well, dear, you have been a mother to her for so many years.
Hello, Eden. I expect you'd like to see the house.
Yes.
Yes, please.
You'll be interested in the fabric in the master bedroom. It takes dozens of people to make it. They mix the colours by hand, and they say the dye never comes off their skin. And these statues, it's said in the house particulars, so you know it must be true, are solid ebony, carved by Tuscan experts.
Darling, I'd forgotten how stunning everything looks. You've got such wonderful taste.
That's the problem, darling, isn't it? One wants to show off everything. After all, what use is having everything if it's not to show off? On the other hand, having the public in one's house, one has to worry about the public's dirty fingerprints. It's such a dilemma, isn't it?
Tell Helen, darling, about the article. Well, it's not been confirmed exactly, but Country Life want to do a 4-page spread.
Darling, how simply marvellous. You could sit on the terrace looking over the grounds.
Looking as if you were born to it.
No, I meant it, Eden. Well, really, I did.
Oh, it's gorgeous, darling. How clever of you. A pink carpet and ships on the wall.
They didn't waste any time, did they?
Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you. Now then, Helen, dry sherry for you. Here we are. Something a little sweeter for you, Vera. This one's not uninteresting. See what you think. How about this young chap?
I brought some of Jamie's government orange juice with me.
Oh, come on, we can do better than that. Personally, I believe in getting a boy used to wine at an early age.
Not at 3, surely.
Well, I wasn't much past that, I'm sure. My father was set upon my knowing wine, you see, and he said it was never too soon to start. For boys, of course.
I suppose he laid down a pipe of Montrachet for you.
You've all got such a sense of humour. Eden, darling? Now, Faith.
Well, I'd like a dry sherry, actually, Tony.
Oh, right. OK, if you want. I think you'll find this one very successful. Bit of an experiment.
There seems to be different shaped glasses.
You mustn't tease him. It's as bad as teasing Jamie. Except Jamie's miles brighter.
I don't understand. Vera!
The doctor will be here soon. I have to get back. Jamie needs his sleep.
Vera, Eden needs you. I don't know what to do. Please, stay.
Look! Look! Here's the doctor now.
Helen would take Jamie, I'm sure. If you could only stay, I could drive you back later.
No, it's out of the question. The doctor's here. It's you that Eden needs now. We have to go.
Vera is innocent.
What are you talking about?
Take a look. I've been looking at the case. I have found she is innocent of any extra crimes you might think of her.
What right have you? How dare you touch my family? Leave me alone. Leave my family alone. What's this Kirby Theaston? What's it got to do with Vera?
Nothing. That's the point. Kirby Theaston is a small village in Norfolk. In 1923, May Durham, a girl of about 17, was arrested for the murder of her stepsister, Sunny, aged 2.5. One hot summer afternoon, May took her stepbrothers and sisters for a walk to the woods. Sunny wandered off. May was short-sighted. She thought she saw one of the maids holding Sunny. But in fact, that child was a little boy, the maid's nephew. Although the details are not at all clear, it appears that while they were playing with some kittens, May gashed her hand quite badly, so that when she got back to the house, she had to change into a clean dress. May was shocked to learn that Sunny hadn't been seen for hours. Sunny's body was found next morning by the gamekeeper Jeffson's dog. Understandably, May was distraught. As there were no obvious suspects, no other motives, they began to think May might be guilty. Then the crucial piece of evidence was found. So the wicked stepsister was taken away. The police questioned her for 2 days, but they couldn't make her confess, so they sent her home. They still, of course, believed her to be guilty.
How unfair. Poor May.
May was sent away from home to a convent in Switzerland, where she was eventually to commit suicide. At the time, it was as much as 3 days after May's arrest that the police got around to questioning everyone on the estate. Jeffson, the gamekeeper, was driving his sister and brother-in-law back to the station after a week's holiday.
For heaven's sake, where is this getting us?
Patience, patience. You English are supposed to have it, not me. Robert Jeffson's sister was called Adele, and Adele's husband was called Albert. Albert March.
Albert March?
Ah, now we're interested. So, supposing this Albert March, who we know was ill, so afflicted from the First World War, supposing he suffered from blackouts, had these violent spells, and then couldn't remember what had happened when he came back to his senses. 5 children disappeared in the North Essex, East Suffolk area in the 10 years between 1920 and 1930, including Sunny Durham and Kathleen March.
His own child.
1920 is the year Albert March married Adele. 1930 is the year he died. So Vera, as I said, is innocent. So?
So what? Still leaves me with one aunt murdered and one hanged.
But you must confront it, Faith. You must talk to the others in your family about your aunts. And don't be afraid that there is something worse to find. There isn't. Vera loved her sister. You have to start from there.
Don't do it, Faith. Leave it alone.
It's nothing to do with you.
Oh, no. Your bloody family's ruined our lives already.
My family? Yours too, remember? Your responsibility too, remember?
Look, I've only contacted Chad. I haven't even decided whether I'm going to see him or not.
I'm sorry. Why did you marry me, Faith? Were you worried no one else would have you?
I was sick with love. I fell in love with Francis when he was only 13. Rather classical, don't you think? Ugly old chap with a beautiful youth.
Hardly old at 30.
Well, I felt old when I was with Francis. And I felt ugly. You know how some people are enhanced by love? How Vera was really shiningly beautiful with Jamie? Well, I was diminished by love. And I still am. I wasn't allowed to do it much. He wouldn't let me. 1945 was my bonanza year. He let me do it 4 times. He wasn't homosexual, as you know.
No. No, I think Francis just liked doing things he thought were wrong. Shock his mother.
I used to follow him around the country. He used to tease me, pretend to be places, then not turn up. Expect I could have got on more if I hadn't spent so much time.
We thought you just dropped by Laurel Cottage to see Vera.
I'm amazed people thought I was Vera's lover. Nobody said a word.
My family's way.
So, after you saw us, Francis and me, you must have known I couldn't have been. So, who did you think Jamie's father was?
Well, some people still thought Gerald was. Although I think even my father realised babies don't take nearly 11 months to arrive. There were some soldiers barracked in Great Sindon at about the right time. Josie Cambers told us. How were we to know? You were the only one who visited Laurel Cottage at that time.
Well, I used to go to the cottage in the holidays. Hang around on the off chance of seeing Francis. And if he wasn't there, I'd just sit there, breathing in the air he'd breathed, sleeping in his bedroom. That day, the autumn of 1947, I'd arrived at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I was so disappointed Francis wasn't there. I hadn't seen him for 6 months. She didn't know where he was or when he'd be home, if ever. I didn't even realise she was ill for a while. Do you look rather ill?
No, I'm not ill. I'm never ill.
You must go to bed.
How can I with Jamie to look after?
And what about Eden? Can't he go there?
No, don't bother her. I think she's at a party.
So, I stayed the night in Francis's bedroom.
Mummy's ill.
I'm going to call Eden.
Please, Chad. Please keep Jamie.
I can't. You know I can't.
Please, Chad. Please take him. He can look at your books. He's a good boy, Chad. Not like Francis. There'll be no trouble. It's the only thing I'll ever ask of you. Please, Chad.
Josie's downstairs doing the washing. And Eden's coming over as soon as she can to pick up Jamie.
Jamie has his sleep in the afternoon. Lock him in his room and tell Eden Josie's taken him.
I don't want to go for Aunt Eden.
Why not?
Come along, darling.
Jamie! Please, John! Please!
And that was that. Josie came, and I left, and that was the last I saw of any of them. I feel so guilty. If only I'd taken some notice of her. I thought she was delirious.
There were other people there, Chad. Much more responsible. We were all there. And none of us could see what was going on.
I have to warn you that Vera looks much changed. Both the sisters have been ill. I also think they might have had some sort of a tiff. Or something to do with Eden being too good for Vera now. I feel sorry for Vera, but she did bring Eden up with all those snobbish values. And now look. Darling, it's heavenly. Jamie will adore it. But are you sure you're fit enough to cope again?
Of course I am. It's a bit much to ask Eden to keep Jamie any longer. She leads a very busy social life. She'd be only too glad to see the back of him. You've brought the car, I see.
Well, naturally. How do you think we got here?
We are going soon, aren't we? You will take me, won't you?
Yes, of course.
I think you might have mentioned you were coming.
We did say, Eden. We did say. We did say that I'd come and take Jamie home today. Is he having a sleep?
Jamie. Jamie. I suppose so. I really don't know.
He is here, isn't he?
Shall I ask Nanny to bring him down, or shall we go up?
Nanny? You had a nanny to look after Jamie?
We thought it was better to engage a professional who would know what they were doing.
Is he upstairs in that lovely nursery we saw, Eden? I'd really love to see it again.
Come along, then.
How are you, darling? You look simply sharp.
I thought she was desperate to see the boy.
She is. It's just, I don't know. Eden seems such a stranger.
Say hello to Mother, Jamie. Come on now, don't be a baby. Please, my darling. Please, Jamie. Mummy didn't mean to leave you. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. Mummy's here now.
Now, dear. He's bound to be rather unsettled at first. I remember when I had to leave you, Andrew, to be in hospital for a fortnight or so, you didn't forgive me for about 6 months. You kept giving me these nasty, secret little pinches to punish me.
Oh, at last, advice.
Why don't we just quickly collect his things and go? I think we might be due for a storm soon.
Oh, you weren't intending to take him, surely?
Of course.
Well, I think it's out of the question. He's had an extremely bad cold. It would be very unwise indeed to take him out in this weather, wouldn't it, Nanny? Take him to Laurel Cottage. It'll be freezing. It's warm here. We can do much better for him here.
You never said he had a cold, Eden. I haven't spoken to you for 10 days. I rang and rang. That woman, your housekeeper, always answered.
I can't stop in all day on the off chance that you might ring.
When could I have him, then? Please, Eden. When might I have Jamie home?
Really, Vera, what do you think we've come here for? You can take the child home when you like. We'll wrap him up. Just get his things together, will you?
Well, if you really think it would be bad for him.
I've already said so, haven't I?
I'll bring the car to the front door. It's not as if he's got to walk home.
Well, what if we said next Saturday? Suppose we said that, Eden.
I won't be here to drive you next week.
Josie's got a car. She'll do it. Please, Eden. There, dear. Please, Eden.
Yes. Next Saturday. Come in the morning.
Eden's going to buy me a dog.
Is she, darling? How kind of Aunt Eden.
A big dog, but it will be little first.
Wait, Faith. Don't you want to hear Vera's news? Jamie has been at Goodney Hall for nearly 3 months now,
Not safe to be moved because of the cold and complications he had when we last saw Faith.
I've missed him dreadfully. Eden has been kindness itself. She has sent her best car to fetch me to stay at Goodney Hall for a fortnight. I know you will agree that any other behaviour from her would have surprised the family. Jamie! I shall have to get acquainted with him again. By the time my visit is over, he should be well enough to come home, and we can say goodbye to Eden and all her generous hospitality.
Do you think we have to call in? I really don't think I can take Vera today. We've had such a relaxing trip. Just thinking of her, I get tense.
Well, we can't just drive through the village without dropping in. Well, somebody might see us and tell her. And what was that for?
You're so decent, Andrew. You've got enough for both of us. Come on. It's funny. When I first came here, it was like a little palace. A bright little fairy tale house in the country. Vera did everything for Eden. Even sent Francis away to school. It's a pity. It's just, well, unfair. Unfair that Eden should be so fortunate, her and Tony all alone in that lovely big house.
All the more reason for her to share it with Vera and Jamie.
I used to be so in awe of them. Eden because she was beautiful. And Vera, well, she knew everything. Father still thinks of them like that. Two golden girls. Instead of...
What? Two women fallen on different luck, bickering over who's got most?
Did you come in a car?
Yes, of course we did. We were driving by.
Oh, fine. If we went over there now, Tony wouldn't be there. It's June's afternoon off on Sundays. There'd only be that housekeeper, but she's 60 if she's a day. We could easily do it. If you keep Eden busy, it'd be really easy. We have to fetch Jamie, of course. We need to. Bring him home. Take him away by force. It's the only way. Eden's always done everything thoroughly. You know that. I taught her that. Eden will keep Jamie because she has no children of her own. She has to give Tony an heir, so she will keep Jamie.
Look here, Vera, surely not. That can't be true. You've not been well, have you? You're overwrought. Has Eden been putting pressure on you to let her adopt Jamie?
Pressure?
Oh, all you have to do is refuse. They can't take him away from you, can they? The law won't let them. Surely you know that.
You can't say no to Eden. You've got a car, you're young, you're strong. You could fight Eden. Shut up the housekeeper. Lock her in the pantry.
Vera. Maybe we should call a doctor. He could give you something to settle your nerves. Any time you want to bring Jamie home, we'll fetch him for you. But we have to do it above board. None of these secret, silly little plans. Let Eden know, be firm, but we must also be civilized. Surely.
Faith, my little niece, Faith, please help me. Look after Jamie, Faith. Promise me. Look after Jamie.
It was the first time Vera had asked me for help, and I had failed her. Jamie stayed with Eden. The next time I saw them was many months later, and by then Jamie and Vera were both installed at Goodney Hall.
Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. Excuse me! I know that you will all want to join with me to thank our generous patron who has so graciously granted us the use of these magnificent grounds for our humble parish day. The event is proving so successful that we hope to repeat it next year and the year after that, and maybe for generations to come.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming to our home. Please enjoy the various activities and interesting stalls, and have a lovely day. The weather promises...
But does Eden really want to adopt Jamie?
Oh, darling, it does seem like it. She can't have babies, so she said Tony would like to adopt Jamie. Legally, he's a very handsome little boy. He'd be a very suitable heir. She said it was very silly of Vera to talk of keeping Jamie here by force.
But is it? I mean, supposing she did want to take Jamie home, right now, how would she do it without a car?
Honestly, Faith, all this skullduggery. Vera will want to keep friendly with Eden. They're so devoted. We've always been such a united family.
Don't get me wrong, but mightn't it be the best thing in the world for Jamie if Eden and Tony adopted him? Vera hasn't been exactly sane recently. She's alone. She's not well off. How ideal is she as a parent?
How ideal is any parent? I mean, the point is, she is his parent. The only one, as we all know, but won't admit. Vera loves Jamie. Don't you understand that?
I was thinking of the boy's best interests. This way he'd have two parents, two young parents, lovely home, money for his education, the right background.
I can't believe you're all talking like this. Eden doesn't even like children.
My mind is made up, Helen. Tony and I are quite decided. We would like to give Jamie a home. It's Vera you should be talking to.
You can make your plans, young lady, but if Vera doesn't agree, you won't get your way, for once.
I'm not engaging in talk about private things in front of all and sundry.
Why don't you just adopt any baby? From a society. Jamie's nearly 5.
I think I know how old Jamie is, Faith. But what business it can be of yours, I honestly don't know.
Please don't quarrel, darlings.
You might as well know. Everything's settled. We're going to adopt Jamie. Vera will spend as much time as she wants with us until she gets used to the new arrangement.
But Jamie's everything to Vera.
Then Vera will want what's best for him. Really, Faith, I certainly don't have to explain myself to you. You're no more than a schoolgirl.
So why did Vera ask Andrew and me to come here and practically kidnap Jamie to get him home again?
I think you must be mistaken, Faith, dear. You must have dreamt that up.
Is this true, Andrew?
You know Vera said that. You made me look a fool.
Well, I'm sorry. Now, are you going to be obedient?
You haven't earned it yet.
Everything's fine in the family, Faith. I told you not to worry yourself. I talked to Vera, and she says she doesn't know what you can have meant, Faith, dear. Look, they've made up. You know, it would be perfectly natural if from time to time Vera was a little jealous, but it's...
I think Vera did say something about thinking Goodney Hall was far too large for two, didn't she, Faith?
I suppose so. She might have.
But we both knew it was a lie. Vera wasn't jealous of Eden. The only thing she ever wanted was Jamie. That was why our marriage was doomed, Andrew. Because it started with a lie. We should have helped Vera. If we'd stepped in, we could have saved them all. I think that Vera knew then that she was on her own, that she would have to plan her own escape from Goodney Hall.
I'm sorry to hear that you have chosen to interfere with your aunt's affairs in quite such an indiscreet manner. I know that Vera and Eden will do the right thing and put their duty before personal desires. As for the idea that your aunt might be suffering from some sort of mental illness, I strongly state that there has never been any history in this family, and you must not worry yourself further on that account. Eden has not been well. Her kidneys are causing her problems. I think it would be courteous of you to send her a card. By all means, add Andrew's name to it if you must.
We just escaped together. It was really funny. It was such a lark. I kept thinking how cross Eden would be. We had to get 3 buses and didn't get home before way past Jamie's bedtime. But it didn't matter, did it? We were home.
I don't think Eden's that bothered where you are. Where is Majorca, anyway? I've never heard of it. Tony's going to make us stay at least 3 months, it says here.
Coming, darling.
You shouldn't encourage her, Faith. She ought to be certified.
What do you care, Francis? You don't even like Jamie.
Eden will get better, and then she'll have the child. My mother, as you know, has never denied Eden anything she's asked for.
But how, if...
You are so naive, Faith. Eden will come home, and she won't be able to stop her getting what she wants.
Don't let your father know we're talking about the family. When Eden and Tony were in Mallorca, we received a letter from Vera.
Thank you so much for the postal order you sent Jamie for his birthday. I have put it in his savings account, for you never know. She's asking again if she can sell Laurel Cottage and move away. I think Vera's been really hard up since Gerald and she...
Laurel Cottage belongs to you, Vera, and Eden equally. If the house is sold, we take our third, and Vera can buy a place with the rest.
What can she buy with £1,000?
It was the only time your father ever let me get my own way against one of his precious sisters. In my whole life. It's the only thing I'm ashamed of. Vera thought she could get away from Eden. She dreamt of running away with Jamie and never coming back.
I never respected your aunts when they were silly young things. So vain and tiresome. But when it happened, you'll understand, Faith, when you have a family.
I have often thought of that morning, what was going through Vera's mind. It was going to be the worst day of her life. Yet it was also Monday, and Monday was washing day.
Josie, take Jamie home with you.
It's no use, Vera. Come inside and we'll talk about it.
Josie, stay in the garden with Jamie and don't let go of his hand.
You're not in a position to look after him properly. Look at his shoes. And he hasn't been to school for a month.
You can't have him! You'll do as I say. I'm still your older sister.
Don't be so ridiculous.
I'm not being ridiculous.
We agreed.
We didn't agree anything. We didn't agree anything.
Mrs. Campbell, can you come in here, please? Can you just wait there for me, Jane?
We didn't agree anything. I promise you.
My sister's very upset. I wonder if you'd make her some tea. I'm sorry. It has to be this way.
No!
What are you doing? Stay out of this, Mrs. Canvas. It's between me and my sister.
That doesn't take it from me!
Don't let her hurt herself, Mrs. Canvas.
Jamie! Jamie!
ready, dear?
Helen, would you go and ring the doorbell? They won't open it if they know it's me.
Darling, don't be ridiculous. We'll just go and explain everything. You've changed your mind. Eden will see.
You don't understand anything, do you?
I have something to say to Tony, Helen. I wonder if you'd wait outside.
She didn't go. Eden's told me, Vera.
You can't get your own way like that, Vera. I've told Tony everything. I've told him Jamie is my son. He's my child. Vera brought him up. I admit it was very generous of her. But there was never any question of her having him for keeps.
You liar!
Helen doesn't want to hear all this. Can't we keep it private?
Oh, no. Oh, no. I'm going to tell everyone what she's doing to me. Where's Jamie? Where's my boy?
He's not your boy, he's mine. And Tony and I are going to adopt him, legally.
Then Vera went into a rage. She called Eden terrible, terrible names.
Please go on, Helen. I need to hear it all. Everything.
You're a whore. A filthy little whore. Yes, Tony, you listen. Your perfect wife. You're Eden. And after all I taught her, she slept with hundreds of men in the war. Hundreds!
That's right, I did. And I got pregnant. And I went home to Vera and asked for her help. I begged her to help me. Because my life was over, you see. I thought it was all over.
Vera did help. Because she really wanted a baby. Because in 1943, who could admit that one's sister was pregnant without a husband? Especially if that sister was perfect. Perfect golden Eden.
So they planned that Eden would hide herself away from the family and Vera would pretend to be pregnant in her place.
How could I do that? Why would I pretend something like that?
She did it to save me. She didn't even care that as time went by, people must suspect her baby couldn't be Gerald's. And when my time came, I went into the nursing home. I called myself Mrs. Vera Hilliard. And then I met Vera. And we drove home. All three of us. Me, her, and Jamie.
You see how she's made all this up? Of course Jamie's mine. She can't have children. She led the life of a whore, and now she's paying for it. She needs a son. For him. So she can keep all this. So she takes mine. Just as she's always taken from me.
And I've always had to be so grateful, haven't I? Well, I'm done with being grateful, Vera.
After all I've done for her.
See? James Arthur Longley. Mother, Eden Mary Longley. Father unknown.
She told me some romantic story. How he was a naval officer. How he'd been torpedoed and died. She came home to me. Please help me, Vera. What shall I do? Please help me. I won't let you have him. You're not having him.
Eden sat there victorious in that way she had. Her marriage was in ruins. Her family. We were shattered. But she was triumphant. Unassailable. Almost.
Eden, this has got to stop.
I agree with you. I'm stopping it.
So do you think they would have got away with it if Eden hadn't decided to take Jamie back?
Oh, yes. None of us suspected anything. It was wartime, remember? Nobody questioned where Eden was. Records were dodgy, got mislaid. Vera even breastfed Jamie before the christening. I didn't dream that. So long as they both kept up the secret, it was safe. We'd be thinking Vera was Jamie's mother even now.
So why do you think Eden risked everything by telling Tony?
I think she thought he'd leave her anyway. Not then. Not for a few years, maybe. But eventually he'd want a son. Poor Eden. She'd spent her whole life preparing for Goodney Hall. What else was she good for?
Do you think she was meant to take Jamie back?
I don't know. I think she probably thought she'd have lots of children. Then with a miscarriage, it destroyed them both. And Tony, and Helen, and my father.
And you, almost.
And him. What if he hates me? He has a perfect right to. After all these years. Nobody went near him. Nobody could bear to think of him.
I see. Right.
That's it.
I'm going to take a look at this church. You'll meet me there when you're ready. Take your time.
Faith?
Jamie?
This is very good.
I'm writing a cookbook. Maybe it'll be translated. Be very fashionable in bohemian London. What do you think my mother would have thought of that? I mean Vera, of course. I'll always believe she was my mother.
I think she would have thought anything you did was splendid. She loved you more than anything. That I can tell you.
More than her? More than my aunt?
Helen once said... You won't remember Helen. Well, anyway, she used to say that Vera killed the person she loved second best in the world for the one she loved most.
She liked to keep things logical. Try to cope with it that way. It's a pity you never knew Helen.
Jamie, I'm so sorry we never kept in touch. It was so painful for us, you see. It was hard for us to think of how it was for you. We knew that Tony was supporting you.
Pearman? Well, he provided money. That's not quite the same as supporting. He was too busy being charitable. To everyone else, of course. Not to me. It's all right, Faith. I understand. Actually, someone did keep in touch.
It's Francis. I don't believe it. Francis kept in touch with you? I don't believe it. No, he used to...
To hate me, yes, I know. I think perversity is Francis's thing.
He was a simply horrible child.
He comes here quite often on his travels. I think he feels we were both left by our mother. And also, he's married himself now and has children. Something happens to people when they have children, I feel. They become softies. Or tenderized, as we'd say in the culinary trade.
You know, He insists that Vera really was his mother. He loves her still.
That's something, isn't it?
So the thing that Vera most feared didn't happen after all. He'll always love her.
Do you think we can ever be sure that Jamie wasn't Vera's child?
Listen, Paolo. It doesn't matter. Don't you see? It doesn't matter who Jamie's real mother was. The fact is, both Vera and Eden needed him to survive, and each destroyed the other to get him. I don't think about Vera that much these days, except to remember occasionally all she tried to teach me about being a good wife and mother. How to make 3 different kinds of homemade biscuits for tea at least. She would have been horrified at my efforts.
It's a monkey, huh?
But sometimes I do think of her, that summer at Laurel Cottage, waiting and waiting for Eden to come and claim what was hers. Smelling Jamie's hair, feeling him grow heavy in our arms, knowing in our heart that Eden would not be denied. And I do understand.